For your Fruit Ninja photos. So first I'm going to put them all in Lightroom mostly to make a contact sheet, and then I'm going to take them into Photoshop to clone stamp them. So here's my Lightroom. I went through and picked the ones that I liked the best, and let's say this one. So I'm going to right click, edit in Adobe Photoshop. I want to edit a copy because I didn't do any edits in Lightroom. So here's my picture. I would need to make a new layer, very important step. I'm gonna name it Clone Stamp. Then I'm gonna find my Clone Stamp tool. I'm gonna make sure it says current and below or my tool will not work. I wanna make sure opacity and flow are at 100, my hardness is at 0. And I wanna use as big of a brush as I possibly can to get rid of things. So I'm going to make it bigger. I'm going to zoom in, Command plus. Okay, so here's my stick. So I'm going to go right below Option, click, let go, go straight up, and I'm not going to click yet. I'm going to line it up. And now once I line it up, I can click and hold, and I can move straight across. I'm gonna hold the space bar because I went straight up and down. So this one, I'm going to Option click. I have to copy a line to remove a line. So you see how it's not quite the right angle? I can go to Window, Clone Source, and I can angle it. Let's see. So 10 degrees is worse. So let's try 350. Okay, there we go. So it's 660 degrees, so I went minus. So now I can angle it, and then this piece is not looking good, like that part looks bad, so I'm going to Option click again, and I am going to undo. Nope, it needs to go a little. There we go. So I'm changing the angle to make it match. Okay, and it looks like there's a little fuzzy piece of the stem over there. Oh, I'm not on my new layer. So make sure you're on your clone stamp layer and not on the background layer. I'm hitting the wrong button. I hope hit Command instead. So I'm getting rid of the little piece. So you want to make sure you are Option clicking, making your brush as big as possible. If you make it really small, you're going to be able to see the edges and it doesn't look good. So I'm going to Option click, and then I would change the angle. I'm going to try over here. So I want to be able to get rid of this whole stick in one brush stroke. Option click. I'm going to undo the tilt. It looks weird up there. So you see how I Option clicked here and there was a weird spot of the background it's not going to match. So I'm going to Option click right above what I want to get rid of. And then I can go down. I'm just making sure that X does not go over something that I want to not get rid of. So if I line it up perfectly, I can go basically straight across until I hit this one. Okay, so I want to get rid of all of the stick, but I'm going to switch to one I already did. So this one, even from this far away, you can see there's some inconsistencies. Like this doesn't look good. So I'm gonna zoom in. I'm gonna make it a little smaller. I'm gonna Option click over here and try and pick up this color to try and blend it more so it looks a little more realistic. I could also try switching to spot healing. Make sure the sample all layers is checked. Make sure your hardness is 0. So I could also go to spot healing and see if it can kind of blend. I don't know that that did any good. And if it doesn't look good, I'm just gonna go back and undo it. Also, if you make a mistake, you can switch to the eraser. So these are all my settings. I can use the eraser. If I do something that looks really bad, I can make sure I'm on my layer. I can just go in and get rid of it. And then I can try again. And I can only do that because I'm on a new layer. Okay, so say I got rid of all of the sticks. It looks perfect. I now need to do basic edits. And we have never talked about levels. So here's my adjustment panel. I can also click on the half white, half black circle, levels, and it's going to make a new adjustment layer. I'm going to pull it over here so you can see better. Okay, so this is the distribution of tones in my picture. The histogram, just like in Lightroom. You see how there's a giant gap here? It is underexposed. So I want to pull this triangle over to the edge. If I hold Option or Alt, if you can see, it'll show me where the clipping is. So just like in Lightroom, I want to move it over until I see the red and then pull it back just a hair. And then this side too, I don't need to move because it's all the way already against the side. So I need to do levels to fix my exposure. I am going to do a hue saturation layer, and I'm just going to increase the saturation just a little. And maybe I want to lighten it a hair, but I want to watch my histogram and make sure I am not clipping things. Remember, clipping is bad, but I feel like this is still a little dark. And then I could even do, I could do a tone curve, just like in Lightroom, make it brighter. I am definitely, so I could add some contrast. So they are very similar settings to Lightroom. They're just on individual layers. And if I make a new layer and I don't change anything, I need to trash it. But you need, at a minimum, to have levels and hue saturation, or you could also do vibrance. Now I also need to crop this to a 5x7. So here's my crop tool. It's going the other direction. So I'm gonna hit these little arrows so it goes the way I want. And then over here, I need to make it say 5x7. So if I want, I wanna do like rule of thirds, say, but I can't perfectly get it on the line. I can use my generative expand, hit the check mark, and it's going to expand the background for me using the AI. Remember this? So I make sure, and then this is optional, but if you want a good grade, you want to try and spice it up and make it look good. So it did pretty good on my generative expand, great. Now I went to the internet and I found a water splash transparent PNG, tools, I'm gonna go to images, tools, size large. You want a PNG so that you can have like a transparent background. I'm not sure. This is maybe kind of low quality, but let's try it. So I'm gonna save the image. Oop. And I'm gonna go to Photoshop and I'm going to open it. Now, if it is truly a PNG, it'll have a transparent background already. So let's see if I Command A, Command C, Command V. So it doesn't actually have a transparent background. So I would need to select, I'm looking for my object selection tool. Here it is. So I'd want to select the object, invert it, do a little select and mask. I think that is still the wrong direction. There we go. I'm gonna shift my edge in a little. I'm gonna feather it and smooth it. I'm gonna put it on a new layer. Hit OK. So here's my water splash. I can move it to this, and that looks bad. So let's try Command T. Make it bigger. It doesn't look great. So I'm gonna try a blending mode to make it look like maybe it is realistic. And None of these are working great. So let's see, this one, I used AI, I'll show you. So I selected my subjects, right? I selected my individual, hit the plus. And then I need to make sure that my clone stamp sections are also in there. I was like missing little pieces. And then I inverted it. And then I tried generative fill. Water, splash, product, drinks. Let's just see what it comes up with, because they use product photography uses this. So I'm gonna see what the AI comes up with and if it's better than what I got from the internet. Okay, this one looks kind of cool. But again, if I change the blending mode to let the background come through a little bit, it looks better. Oh, so the screen looks okay. I think the overlay is gonna work the best, so I can still, so what that does is I can still see the background and it makes it look a little better. So I use the AI, I did levels, I did hue saturation. So this is done. So I am going to file, save. I am going to take a screenshot of the picture and the layers panel. And then I'm also going to file, save as a copy. I'm gonna make sure it goes on my desktop. I'm gonna make it a JPEG and hit save. And I want it to be on high so that we can see them in Google Classroom. And that is it. Happy editing.